I guess I've been concerned with this since we moved here a year and a half ago. And I come from the country in the valley, and our little community is really a clean community. So when I came here, although I know there's more people and there's a larger area, I'm really amazed at how much garbage there is. And I've been really in my heart to bringing awareness to the people that if everyone came out and did their, each home and each business came out and just picked up little garbage around their businesses or their homes, we'd have a cleaner place. Thank you.
All right.
Purple regular.
Doing a general fish habitat survey. Look for factors that make for good fish habitat, such as clarity of water, sufficient places for fish to find cover from predators, bottom plants, what time of plants are growing there, and the fish sightings, what kind of fish are there.
Well, it does drop off very quickly, like they said. The bottom is all large rocks, very similar to what you see here. It's silt and large rocks, and out to maybe 20 feet of depth. It's grass, little wisps of grass. It's very dark, 35 to 40 feet. You really can't see anything. And of course, being fresh water, you're quite buoyant, or at least you're not as buoyant as you are in salt water, so you just start dropping. I wouldn't say there's much point. We were about 37 feet. There's not much point going any deeper than that. You can't see anything anyhow. It's hard to keep track of your buddy too. It gets so murky. We got separated and came up.
That beside that two-seater bike. Two-seater bike.
Oh, really?
Yeah, go for two.
Did you get it up?
No, we picked it up and it just disintegrated, most of it, the wheels had. And we went back to get it and we couldn't find the sucker.
We had the bags all full of cans and everything else?
Cans and everything else, brought those back up, and went back down.
Snorkels, clothing.
Some fruit jumped on and took away, I guess.
Lawn chairs. Jigsaw. I got the jigsaw with the blade and everything. Got the lawn chair there.
You're now watching Lieutenant Commander Tom Willdey, who also is the Commodore of the Mascua Aquatic Club. Tom, are you people happy with the condition of the lake?
Well, I think considering, Shalom, the amount of usage the lake gets, and the lake is very difficult to regulate because it is in 3 different municipalities. And down on the other end of the lake there is a public beach area, plus the club, which has a lot of usage, and plus an awful lot of usage from the other side of the lake. So I think when all things considered, the lake is in tremendous condition for being virtually in the middle of an urban area, and the amount of usage it gets, it's just tremendous.
What do you think? Is there a conflict between fishermen and boaters the way they have in Dartmouth? Dartmouth is a major battle, as you know, on some of the lakes.
No, there hasn't been a conflict. It's not that heavily fished. We do have a conflict with some boaters, particularly those that put a speedboat in, or these little water skidoos, whatever they call them. From our perspective, they're very dangerous with children out in canoes and kayaks, particularly the competitive canoe and kayaks, which are not terribly stable. So yeah, there is. It's one of those things in life that sailing and paddling, for example, are mutually exclusive, and never the twain shall meet.
Well, I understand in all the Halifax lakes you're not allowed to have a motorboat within the city of Halifax. But this being, the 3 constituents. I have the bylaw which Peter gave me there.
I can support that 100%. I really can.
But anyway, Kearney Lake is one of the best lakes based on our testing last year. So I guess everybody must be pleased.
Sure. Tremendous. Great. Today's cleanup, every little bit certainly helps. That is for sure.
What did you find when you were diving in the lake?
Almost nothing.
I see.
We found hills of rocks that looked as though they'd just been dumped there by a truck. But when you went to, they looked loose. When you went to pick them up, they were all stuck together. And the canyons in between. And at around 20 feet, the temperature of the water dropped by about 20 degrees. It did. It was
well,
cold.
That's what they call as a thermocline.
Yeah.
But did you see a lot of garbage?
No, we didn't.
Oh, that's very
because we were quite a ways up from anywhere. Although you could see on the shore people, there's a little footpath through there. You can see people sit there. I found a bottle. Colin found a rusty old bit of can, and I saw a couple of other tin cans, but by that time I couldn't get down to reach them.
I have heard, and I'm not sure, that the lake flushes about 12 times a year, which is really quite good for the amount of visible inlet. There's an awful lot of runoff that goes into this lake also. You can come here, for example, under our boathouse over here. We have to have a large culvert. There's a large runoff from the hills in behind us, and that's where the lake gets most of the flushing, is a straight runoff from the hills in behind us, because there's very little brook-type inlet to support the amount of water that flows, particularly out of the lake, really. There's an awful lot more that visibly that flows out of it than what flows into it.
Well, some divers was telling me that there was a lot of silt there. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from those gravel pits, whatever?
I can only assume the silt came from probably when they built Kearney Lake Road, from one source of it. And as I say, there is an awful lot of runoff in this lake, and I think that's where the lake gets the majority of its feed. Because I haven't heard of any springs. It's not a spring-fed lake to my knowledge. I haven't heard of it, so it has to be an awful lot of water runoff. Obviously, there's a lot of water runoff from the quarry that's been in existence for about 15 years. One would assume some of the silt comes from there, but then you have to assume that an awful lot came from the building of Kearney Lake Road itself, which is just filth, really.
So you're not concerned about the new quarries which are planned to be built?
Oh, we're always concerned about quarries or anything that even has a risk of damaging a lake. You bet.
Well, if they're properly designed, I suppose, with holding ponds and settling ponds and things like that.
As long, but I don't think anything is perfect. You're going to get a certain amount of dust and this sort of thing from it. But, lakes are a precious resource, and they're not making any more, and it's up to us to look after them.
That's right.
Bye, Shimon.